Stay tuned, our biggest reveal stream will yet to be broadcast across your favorite Fall Guys channels May 16th at 1 p.m. EDT. Tune in to hear about the latest news about Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and more. We will be talking about that later tonight. That is one of our last stories tonight. So we will be talking about the big announcement later. Or the announcement of the big announcement, because we don't actually know what the big announcement is, even though I have a few very educated guesses. Ooh, we got another tall bean. And, mallard. Yeah. Fall like a butterfly. No, things may change, but I will always be a dedicated donut. Oh, ugh. No, let's just do main show. So yeah, I still cannot believe last week when we got Infallible. That still blows my mind. One of the biggest moments. Just straight up. We got Infallible. God, can you imagine? One of the hardest achievements to get. In this game, anyways. Not the hardest achievement of all time. I do not know what the hardest achievement of all time is. If I had to guess, at least the first one that comes to my mind is Try This One, Jeff, from the game Gems of War. That's pretty funny. The Stanley Parables, Do Not Play the Game for 10 years. That it's not hard, it just takes forever. I know there are people who've you can hack the game to get it. I actually did get the Not Play the Game for 5 years achievement in the first Stanley Parable. I did get that one legit. I have not, well, okay, technically I haven't redeemed it yet. But, you know, it's been, I think the last time I played the Stanley Parable was 7 years ago. So if I were to boot up the game, I would get the achievement. Which, speaking of which, so yeah, Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe came out. I haven't played it yet. I want to. I've been seeing a bunch of like streamers play it and whatnot, and I've been like, I kind of want to watch those because I'm curious to see other people's reactions to some of that stuff. Cause yeah, but I've been like, I'm gonna play Ultra Deluxe first. I want to see the new endings. Cause way back in the day, I actually let's play the Stanley Parable. I did tutorials on how to get every ending. And those videos, again, those videos are 7 years old now. And they've been getting a lot of views recently. Because, you know, people are playing the new game. Not like an insane amount. Like, I think like the highest one got like 2,000 views. Right? There's like, but I mean, for a small-time guy like me, that's kind of a lot. But yeah, one of them got like 2,000 views. And I'm just talking since in the past like 2 weeks. Just because, you know, people are playing the new game, so they're like, oh, how do I get these endings? And my videos show up in the tutorials. Yep. My most popular videos, always those stupid tutorials. I don't get it. I mean, I do, but I don't get it. But yeah, so I've been doing that. Okay, I'm just gonna assume everything's working. Oh god, I hate this one. But yeah, I've been meaning to play the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. I just like I know I could buy it on sale on Steam, but I want to get it on Switch. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to eventually buy it on Switch. And there's like 1 or 2 other Switch games I've been looking at. And so I'm probably going to... And it still pisses me off that the eShop doesn't have a cart. So I can't, like, do a cart. Like, put all these games in a cart and buy them all at once. I have to buy them all individually. Or, of course, you could just, like, add, like, 50... You can add, like, different amounts of money to the eShop. So I could add, like, $50. And then it'd just be like, oh, okay, here, you have $50? That sounds all good. That sounds good. And then I can, like, buy each of the games individually. It's still a pain in the ass. Like, I know people complain about, like, the Epic Game Store, and we're out. I hate the Rhino one so much. I know people complain about the Epic Game Store lacking features, and I think it did take forever for the Epic Game Store to get a cart. The Epic Game Store at least has a cart. The Switch eShop is, I think, like, at least 2 years older than the Epic Game Store, and still doesn't. It might not be. It might not be 2 years older, but it definitely feels like it's been a while. Reach around for it. But yeah, I don't know, that just annoys me. Especially because every other system does it. There might be a cart on Nintendo Switch's website, but I've never actually checked, and I don't care to. Because I know they did completely redo their website rather recently. So, Alright, so let's get into the news tonight. So first off, we have Nintendo, the company that is currently has allegations levied against it for union busting and for abusing their part-time employees. Or at least treating their part-time employees pretty poorly. It happens to everybody. Every company you love will eventually be accused of shitty business practices. And 99% of the time, it will be true. So, yeah. Nintendo, this company... And this is specifically Nintendo of America. Which, yeah, let's not get into it. I know there's this whole thing about, like, how much power does Nintendo of America have over Nintendo? Or, like, is Nintendo of Japan the one, like, in charge? Really? Because from all accounts, it really does look like Nintendo of Japan makes all the decisions, and Nintendo of America just does whatever they say. So how it's a complicated mess, is all I'll say. But yeah, so, but Nintendo is still accused of these allegations, and I will keep bringing it up. I mean, we'll talk about Ubisoft later, but I'm not going to let Ubisoft get away with it. So you better believe I'm not going to let Nintendo get away with it. Come on. No. Ah, shit. So, yeah. So Nintendo held a investors meeting this past week where they revealed sales numbers. In the Switch's sales numbers are now at... I'm pulling it up. The Switch has now, hardware-wise, sold 103.5 million units. So yeah, it is... I think it's now the second best-selling console of all time. And for some reason I thought it was 107. Maybe I could be wrong here. For some reason, I thought the number was 107. But maybe it must be 103. Best-selling consoles of all time. It is... Where's the list? Oh, it's number 4. Okay, it's number 4. Well, they're combining the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color. I mean, to be fair, I do that. To be fair, I do that all the time. It's below the PS5, the Game Boy, Game Boy Color, the DS, and the PS2. And the PS5 has sold 116 million, and yeah. So yeah, it's still behind that. I can see it overtaking the PS5. The Game Boy and Game Boy Color have sold 118. I can see it overtaking that. I don't see it going much higher than that, though. Or, like, I don't see it going past, like, 130 million, if I'm being completely honest. I don't see it overtaking the DS or the PS2, which are at 154, and 155 respectively. Right, the DS is just a million behind its counterpart on the PS2, right? It's just a million difference. But yeah, I don't see that changing. Now, the one thing that I do find interesting about these sales numbers is that this was pointed out by, I think, John Combs is John Combs currently at Good Vibe Games, or is he working somewhere else? God, I don't remember off the top of my head. But it was pointed out by John Combs that the Nintendo Switch has now sold more hardware, so like more Nintendo Switch systems have been sold than the Wii U sold software. The Wii U only sold 102 million games. So of the, like, I think it was like, what, 18 million people who owned a Wii U, they only sold the system. So basically, everybody bought 5 games. 5 point something, something, something. Right? So basically, for every one person who bought a Wii U, they bought 5 games to get you to roughly around like 1.2 million games, 102 million games sold. The Switch has now sold 103 million consoles. So the Switch is now better than the Wii, than has outsold the Wii U on games, which is wild to think about. Especially because for every one person who owns a Switch, 50% of them have Mario Kart. That's not an exact number because I think it's 45. I think 45 Mario Kart's now up to 45 million sales. Okay, so watermelon and grape. Do I actually have 43 million? The Mario Kart is up to 43 million sales. Okay, I knew it was high. Animal Crossing is at 37 million, which is pretty good. Okay, I gotta focus on this real quick. Watermelon, orange, banana, grape. Watermelon, orange, banana, grape. Banana. Alright, so there's that. Okay, orange, apple, cherry, banana, watermelon. Orange, apple, cherry, banana, watermelon. Orange, apple, cherry, banana. Orange, apple, cherry, banana. Cherry? Okay, I was on the right one. I wasn't sure. Just because there were 3 people there. So yeah, Animal Crossing has sold 37 million units. Smash Ultimate has sold 27 million units. Breath of the Wild has sold 25 million. Pokemon Sword and Shield has sold 23.9 million. And Mario Odyssey has sold 23 million. So those are some of the big numbers. Of course, those are the best-selling games. The one that blows my mind. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. The game that, you know, like, I know there was controversy around it. But even without the controversy, it just didn't seem to really enter the public consciousness that much. Like, Pokemon Sword and Shield had a ton of controversy, but that kind of made it everywhere. Everyone was talking about Sword and Shield. So it's selling, what was it, 23.9 million. Makes sense. You know, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, I just feel like people haven't been talking about. Because, and then when Legends Arceus came out like 2 months later, everyone was talking about that. But no, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl have sold 14 million copies, making it the 9th best-selling Switch game of all time. Yeah. So yeah, Pokemon Brilliant, and of course it's one of those things where it's like, oh well, they're selling 2 games, and you know there are tons of people who buy the game twice. I wonder how true that is. I wonder how many of these 14 million people who have bought this game, how many have actually bought it twice. Because we don't actually know, but I don't think it's as high as people think it is. I mean, I know I'm one of those people who does, but usually I'll buy both copies of the game, and then I give one to a friend or to my brother or something like that, and then he plays through it. That's what I did for Sword and Shield. That's what I did for Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Right? Technically, I didn't do that for Diamond and Pearl, but that's semantics. And technically, I didn't do it for Legends Arceus, but that's only one game. But yeah, so I don't know how true that is. You know, it's a little complicated. But the other one is Pokemon Legends Arceus, meanwhile, has sold 12 million units. So it's so in like a 2-month period of time, it has sold really well. Again, it's not as big as Diamond and Pearl, but it's 12 million is still a very good number. I mean, I really do hope it continues to grow and does eventually, you know, outplace Diamond and Pearl. Because it seriously is a better game. Legends Arceus is so good, and God, I hope the new Pokemon game learns from it. If the new Pokemon game learns from Legends Arceus, I do think it could challenge Animal Crossing. I don't think anything could challenge. I thought Animal Crossing was going to challenge Mario Kart, and it got up to 30 million pretty fast. And it's at what, 37 million? But I feel like it definitely has stagnated. Around the time it hit 32 million, I feel like it's stagnated since then. And I kind of get it. It was everywhere, and now it's just not. But I do definitely feel like if Sword and Shield's selling so well, and you know, this new game, it has a lot less controversy around it, they can really make this new one. And you know, they learn from Legends Arceus, make it not just like Legends Arceus. There's a few things they have to fix. Add voice acting. Oh my god, voice acting would be huge, and give it the sense of like professionality. But I definitely do think if the more it is like Sword and Shield, the worse of a game it is. But we'll see what they do. We will see what they do. I mean, I'm gonna be buying it regardless, you know, because I am a slave to the Pokemon brand. And then the final thing to come out of all these sales numbers, in 2 weeks. Oh shit! I thought there was gonna be more coming. Whatever. In 2 weeks since Kirby in the Forgotten Lands has come out, I know it's been a little longer than 2 weeks, but you know, they cut off the sales numbers at a certain point. When they cut off sales numbers for Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, it had sold 3 million units. That's not bad. 3 million units, not a bad number, in my opinion anyways. So yeah, that's where Kirby and the Forgotten Lands is at. Hopefully it continues to grow. I don't know where Star Allies is at sales-wise. I think Star Allies also did pretty well, if I remember correctly. Kirby Star Allies. Let's see. Does this say anywheres? Okay, Wikipedia page, Kirby Star Allies. Platformer. The game has sold 3.42 million units as of December 31st, 2020. So they haven't updated it in a while. But even still, Kirby and the Forgotten Lands is already going to overtake that. It probably already has, honestly. But that's good. You know, it's a really good game. I highly recommend it. We streamed it all. So you can go watch that if you want. I recommend you play it. So keeping on this Nintendo train, the next thing we got to talk about is Indie World. So Nintendo randomly announced an Indie World on, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday, and it was the following day. It was the 11th. I think the 11th was Wednesday, if I remember correctly. What's today? Yeah, it was Wednesday. And you know me, I love Indie World. I love some indie game. I say a successful Indie World is one that has at least 3 games I like. Recently, I've been questioning that, because indie worlds have been so good. I'm wondering if, like, one game is, like, enough nowadays. Like, do I bump that number up to 3? Just because these indie worlds have been so good with so many great games on them. You know? I don't know, it's something I was thinking about. Because I genuinely thought this was a great indie world. I thought there were a lot of great announcements in it. I know there were 2 big announcements that were missing. They'll come eventually, you know? We'll talk about it at the end. So let's get into it. So they opened up with I'm not gonna... No. Okay, wait, real quick. I'm not gonna cover every announcement. I'm only covering the ones I'm interested in. I recommend you go watch the show and find the one you're interested in. Indie worlds are the type of showcase that literally there's so much of a variety of game that there's something for everybody. Like, if you like rhythm games, there were like 2 or 3 rhythm games there. And none of them are on this list. So yeah, go look up those. But yeah, so they opened up the showcase with Ooblets. Now, Ooblets, if you don't remember, like 2 or 3 years ago, got in this big controversy for being Epic Game Store exclusive. Right? They took the Epic Game Store money to be PC Epic Game Store exclusive. And I guess, well, they weren't on consoles because it was an early access game. And people got really mad at them for it. But then when the game came out on Epic Game Store, people actually really liked the game. Ooblets is actually a pretty good game, all things considered. The one I see people compare it to is Pokemon. And whereas like something like Temtem is just blatantly trying to rip off Pokemon, Ooblets is taking Pokemon as inspiration and making something new and different that's actually very good. So yeah, if you don't know anything about Ooblets, it's basically like a gardening game where, you know, you're gardening these little they're the Ooblets, right? They're these little creatures that you can then use to grow crops, and instead of having Pokemon battles, you have dance battles. And it's just really cute and really wholesome, and I hear it's pretty fun. Right, I have heard tons of good things about Ooblets. And as it's gotten more content, I hear that it's gotten... Right, they've added new stuff that has made the game even better. So yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about Ooblets. So it finally coming to Switch is a great thing. I think it got a summer release date, if I remember correctly. But no, this is definitely one of those ones. Like I know I've said I've been waiting for Temtem on Switch, because I don't expect it to be good. But I'm going to play it. But, Ooblets is one that I know, like, Temtem I know will be bad, but I'm going to play it because it's a Pokemon ripoff. Maybe eventually. Ooblets, on the other hand, I know will be good, because it takes inspiration from Pokemon while doing something new and interesting. That genuinely sounds really good. So if you know nothing about this game, I highly recommend you look into it and keep an eye out for when it comes to Switch, because I hear it's really good. I know there was the controversy early on, but don't let that don't let that, like, hamper your mind or anything. They didn't make this isn't like they didn't make NFTs. Right? This isn't fucking NFTs. They took some Epic Game Store money. And the game might even... I don't even know if it was like a permanent Epic Game Store exclusive. It might be on Steam nowadays. I honestly don't know. But it's coming to the Switch. And yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it. And this was like when it came out years ago. And I know it came out in early access. So I'm sure it's only gotten better since then. Next up is the game Lekhead. So this is a game, I think it's only made by a single person. It's already out on Steam now. But it's a platformer. Honestly, it reminds me a lot of something like VVVVV or Gato Roboto, right? Where it's like this little like platformer game and you have like electricity. And like, so when you step on like a platform, it powers the platform, which causes like laser beams or something like that. Right? Like doing certain things has certain effects on the world. Like standing, or you can like, right, you can stand on a platform to activate its laser beams or vice versa. right? And then you can shoot your head off, and when you shoot your head off, it can like use to be powered platforms or to move platforms out of the way. It seems like it's very minimalist, but it seems pretty good, right? It seems like a very solid game. I hear it's already out on Steam. And yeah, so I'm actually really, because I like those games like VVVV. Okay, VVVVVVV, I know I'm adding way too many Vs, was decent. It's not entirely my taste, but I liked it. And Gato Roboto I loved. And those are just the two it reminds me of. But I am genuinely interested in this. I actually think this looks pretty good. Speaking of the Gato Roboto devs, they announced their next game called Gunbrella. So, you know the Gunbrella in Splatoon. Yeah, so it's a 2D game where you're like an assassin who has a gunbrella, and you shoot the gunbrella, and then you can like keep it open to like block bullets. You can glide down on the gunbrella. It just, again, it's by the Gato Roboto devs, who I think made a great game. This seems like it's got an even larger scope. It's doing even more. This one has whereas Gato Roboto was inspired by like Metroid 2 on the Game Boy, so as a result it had a Game Boy Color palette. This game has more of a full like palette, still a pixel art style, but it's in full color 3D. It's in full, not 3D, it's in full color. And yeah, it looks pretty solid. All around, this looks really good. I have faith in the devs because I know Gato Roboto was really good. I really enjoyed it. It might be on... No, I don't think it's on Game Pass anymore. I know Gato Roboto was on Game Pass at one point. If it still is, go play it. It's a perfect Game Pass game. And if it's not, if it's ever on sale, I do recommend it. Because it's a short game. I think you can I 100%ed it in like 2 hours. But it's a really fun 100%. So yeah, really solid Metroidvania. Little microscopic Metroidvania. Next up, Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. I swear Totally Accurate Battle Simulator was already on Switch. Maybe I'm just thinking of Game Pass, because every time I boot up Game Pass, I see it on there. Because, yeah. Now, I have not actually played Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. But the developer, whose name I don't remember, I think they did Cluster Truck? I think it's the same developer as who did Cluster Truck. And yeah, after they did Cluster Truck, their next game was Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. And I remember watching, like, because they'd release like development builds every like few weeks and whatnot, that would like add new stuff and change things around. This is a game I've been following the development of now for like years now. And yeah, I knew it released on PC. I remember when it released on Early Access, and then they did the full release. And yeah, it's a very solid game. It's a Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. Or at least it seems like a very fun game. I know they've probably made a lot of changes. Like, I remember when they added the Chicken Man, and then they added the Chicken Man, then they removed the Chicken Man, and I don't even think the Chicken Man is in there anymore. But, you know, it's a solid idea that's led to some fun concepts, and I've seen some fun stuff done with it. And yeah, no, will I pick this one up? I do worry about how well it will run on Switch, because it's a game that has like a lot of entities on screen at once, or at least it theoretically can. So like it might run perfectly fine on Switch. Honestly, that's totally possible. It could run perfectly fine. But there is that possibility that I could see, like, if you have too many entities, it could, like, too many soldiers, it could start to slow down. But, you know, we haven't even seen, you know, that's something that, we haven't even seen it yet. Or, like, nobody's even got it in their hands yet. So, we'll see when that actually happens. But that is... Oh my gosh. But yeah, no, I've heard, I know it's a good game. I used to follow the development back in the day, and I used to watch like people stream it actually. But that was a long time ago, so I have no idea what's been up with the game recently. I probably sense it. I think the last time I checked on it was like right after it left early access. But I know that happened a while ago, and I think they've been steadily updating the game since then. Or at least something along those lines, anyways. So yeah, well, I don't know. I don't see any reason why it would, like... I do worry about that, but it's no big deal. Let's move on. Next up, We Are OFK got announced for Switch. This is a game that you see a lot of, that has been at a bunch of PlayStation conferences. So, like, we've known about it for a while now. It's been at a bunch of the PlayStation showcases. When I first saw it, I was like, I don't really like this. But the more I see of it, maybe I'm getting, like, Stockholm Syndromed into it. Or, not, is it Stockholm Syndrome? I don't know. The more I see of it, the more I'm like, okay, this might actually be good. And I don't know if it's already released on PlayStation. I don't know if it's now confirmed to be on both. It's going to be released on PlayStation and Switch at the same time. I'm not sure exactly. Because, yeah, I feel like we've been seeing a lot of this game for a while now. It might already be on PS5. I don't know. It is a episodic game. And it looks like, so it's going to be like a chapter thing. It's going to be like released in chapters. But as per my understanding, it's like weekly chapters. So it'll be, so that makes me think the game is like already done. So like, whereas like Life is Strange, you have to like wait periods of time between the chapters. Or at least, you know, that's how it was with the original. There are some episodic games where it's just like, no, every episode releases, right? Like, all the episodes are done. They just release them, like, weeks out from each other or something like that. I don't know. I don't know all the details of it. But it's one of those games where, yeah, like, when I originally saw it, I was like, eh. But the more I see of it, the more I'm like, no, this actually is probably decent. They use like VTuber stuff in this indie world, and that was kind of weird. Just because it didn't feel like it synced perfectly. But whatever, semantics. Wanted to avoid that. Next up, Mini Motorways is on Switch. So my Game of the Year list last year, Mini Motorways was number 6. And Mini Metro, its predecessor? Yeah, let's go predecessor. Is one of my favorite games of all time. So yeah, I'm actually genuinely, like, excited for... Oh, crap. Yeah, so I really like Mini Metro... Or Mini Metro is a great game. Mini Motorways is also a pretty solid game. I'm actually better at Mini Motorways than I am at Mini Metro. Like, I do way better at the game. So it is cool to see it on Switch. I think Mini Metro might also be on Switch. But now Mini Motorways is here. I do not think I'm going to be picking it up. Because my PC runs Mini Motorways fine. So I don't think I need it again. And while, yeah, it probably is nice to have it portable, I also have Mini Metro on my phone. Yeah, Mini Metro is one of the few mobile games I have bought on my phone. That and, like, Downwell. I'm sure there's, like, one or two other things. But yeah, so I'll probably actually pick it up when it eventually comes to, like, Android. But it's on Switch now. I bought it on PC. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Number 6 game of the year last year. If you look into it and you're at all interested, like, go watch some Real Civil Engineer. It's a YouTube channel that's pretty fun. He's got a good personality. It's a good gimmick, but he's got an entertaining personality. So I do recommend the channel. And yeah, he's done some Mini Motorway. So, like, go watch some of that. And if that seems like something you'd be interested in, I do recommend picking it up. And I'm sure the Switch version works fine. Next up, and that's released right now. So, like, that's available today. Because one of the things in the Switch showcase that I did not like was that very few of these games had release dates. I mean, a lot of them were just like a vague, like, this year, right? Like 2022. There were a few that were 2023, but a lot of them were just like 2022. I think the most common thing we got was like July 2022, right? There weren't that many concrete release dates, but there were a few games. I think there were like 3 or 4 games that came out, of course, the same day as the showcase, and Mini Motorways was one of them. I know one of the rhythm games was also same day release date, or whatever. Yeah, Cult of the Lamb got another trailer. Did not get a release date. I think it's just still scheduled for this year. Cult of the Lamb is like a town building game mixed with like Binding of Isaac. I feel like it got a preview recently. Like, the developers invited some people down to their studios to like get some hands-on time with the game, and people really liked it. I think that happened recently. Like, I'm talking like 2 weeks ago or so. I don't know. It was in the news again like a few weeks before the Nintendo showcase. But yeah, it's always reminded me of Binding of Isaac because it has roguelike elements. But it's clearly got some like base building elements as well. What I mean is like town building. You're like recruiting people to bring back to your town who, then join your cult, and you make your cult a little bigger and whatnot. I would say Don't Starve, but I've never played Don't Starve, so I don't know. But no, Cult of the Lamb looks very solid. It just got another trailer here. No release date or anything. But it'll come when it comes. And then the final reveal of the showcase. So, I think in like the second episode of this season, in chat, we talked about Team 17 making NFTs. Again, fuck companies that make NFTs. And yeah, Team 17 made NFTs. And one of the first developers to call them out on it, a bunch did, but the first one I saw that was like immediate was a developing studio called Aggro Crab, right? Like Aggro Crag, but with crab. So Aggro Crab called them out, and we're like, no, we do not support Team 17's decision to make NFTs. We will not be working with Team 17 any longer. I fucking hate it here. Like, that was their statement, right? Like, they do not support NFTs at all. Fuck Team 17's decision to do this. I gained a lot of respect for Aggro Crab in that moment. A studio I had actually never heard of before. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And so they ended off, in this indie showcase, ended off with the new game by Aggro Crab. I know they did one other game before. I had never heard of it. Or if I had, I don't remember it. But after the whole Team 17 controversy, I was like, I respect this developer now, right? Like, and especially putting at the end of their statement, just like, not only did they call out NFTs, but they were like, this all fucking sucks. Everything, right? We're living in hell, right? It's that certain, like, I talked about Ooblets. When Ooblets announced they were working with NFTs, they tried to make their announcement with a little bit of, like, self-awareness, and it just backfired. But Aggro Crab making their statement about, like, how they hate NFTs and putting some self-awareness into it worked wonders. So seeing their new game, I'm like, okay, yeah, let's see what you got, Aggro Crab. And so the game's called Another Crab's Treasure, where you play as a hermit crab, and it's a Souls-like game. Or, well, they call it a crab-like. But yeah, it's a Souls-like game where you're playing as a hermit crab, and someone has stolen your shell, so now you're taking other crabs, like treasure, and you're taking like cans, and I think there's like a ramen cup, and you're just finding these other things to use as your hermit crab shell, in a Dark Souls-like game, and you're fighting like other crabs, like there's a crab, like like a traditional like king crab with like a knife taped to it and whatnot. It seems both lighthearted, but it's also a Souls-like game, so it's going to be bloody difficult. And I'm like genuinely like, yeah, no. I know I still have never played Dark Souls. I'll get around to it eventually. But I am like how'd 29 qualify? Huh, that's interesting. But no, I'm genuine. Like Aggro Crab already had me on their side, and the fact that the game looks good is just like, yeah, no, let's go for it. Like, again, I don't know anything about their previous game, but this new one looks good. Let's go for it. And that was everything in the direct. I know there was a bunch of stuff I left, and there's a bunch of stuff I left out as well that just didn't interest me. But that was everything that did interest me. That's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games, and they probably showed 20 total. Okay, I know there was like a highlight reel at one point, which showed golfing. What is it? Curse to Golf, which looks like a great little like indie golf game that I'm super excited for when it eventually comes out. Oh my gosh, what happened to my bean? Yeah, Curse to Golf looks genuinely good, and but that didn't get a release date yet. We're still waiting on the release date of Curse to Golf. Yeah, I really did, because it had a big trailer a while ago. So I was really hoping we'd get a release date for Curse to Golf. When it got that big trailer a few months ago, and it was just, nope, summer. And then it got another trailer during this showcase that still just says summer. So it'll come out when it comes out, but that's another good game in there. That was in like the highlight reel. But, yeah, so there were probably like 20, 25 games. And yeah, 9, 10-ish of them I'm genuinely excited for. How many will I actually end up picking up? Probably 2 or 3. I mean, like, I already own Mini Metro. But I'll probably pick up like 2 or 3 of them. So yeah, no, I think this is a pretty solid showcase. There was no Silk Song. I know people are still... Didn't Hollow Knight get announced to be coming to Switch at a main E3 showcase? That was one of the major announcements in the E3 showcase. Silk Song was revealed at an indie showcase, but I think when we get more information on Silk Song, it's going to be at a mainstream Nintendo showcase. It's not going to be at an indie world. Silk Song is so big and so popular that it's going to be at a main showcase. So that will come when it comes. It could be as early as E3. I know Team Cherry gave an interview, or they even, I think, gave like an interview or a statement like last week and said that the game will come in due time. Like, they're close, but they're not there yet. And it might have even been like the day after the Nintendo, or the day... so the Nintendo Direct was revealed and then it happened the next day. So they might have given it on, like, that Tuesday before the Nintendo Direct. They put out, saying that it'll happen when it happens. Or something like that happened. But it'll happen when it happens, and, we know it'll be great. I can wait more time. I feel like people, every time... There's, this picture of, the main character of Hollow Knight sitting on a bench in, with a clown wig and a clown nose... Yeah, no. At this point, if you're expecting Hollow Knight as an indie showcase, you're clowning yourself. Right? It's clown time, everybody. Yeah. Now, the other game that I was hoping for at this showcase was Sports Story. So, Golf Story is one of my favorite Switch games. One of my if you have a Switch, it is a must-buy game. Golf Story is so good. And its sequel, Sports Story, was announced a few years ago, and I'm super excited for it. And, I'm always hoping it'll show up at the indie. So that was my clown moment, is hoping for Sports Story. Didn't happen. It'll happen when it happens as well. Right? I'm not beat up over it. I'm just like, oh, is this going to be the time? It'll happen eventually. And again, it's one of those games where if it were to come during a mainline Nintendo showcase, it has more than earned it. Because Golf Story is so good. And yeah, even though Nintendo just put out their own Nintendo Switch Sports, which, yeah. But yeah, overall, I really like this indie world. Yeah, I knew Silk Song wasn't going to happen. I was I don't know. I think I was like 50-50 on Sports Story. But everything else here, specifically Ooblets. Ooblets is like the big one where I'm like, oh, that's going to be great. I'm so excited for that. Electhead's going to be fun. And then, you know, Cult of the Lamb and Aggro Crag, I'll pick up. Oh, another Crab's Treasure is 2023. So it's still a good year away. But yeah, I'll pick those up when they happen. But yeah. And specifically with Electhead, if it's like $10, yeah, no, that's a day one buy easy. I actually haven't checked how much it is on Steam. But yeah. So yeah, that was Indie World. Oh, okay. Let's put that right there. Next up, we got some delays and the like. So the first thing is earlier in the week, on like Tuesday or Wednesday, it was announced that Starfield and Redfall, the two new Bethesda games that, you know, everyone's excited for, everyone's waiting to see it when they come at E3 later this year. Bethesda just got out ahead of everything and was like, no, both games have been delayed into 2023. I think they said spring 2023. I don't have the official statement pulled up, but I want to say they did specify spring 2023. Or at least like first quarter 2023 or early, you know, they said something along those lines. Like it's not going to be like it's going to be like a full year delay. No, it's going to be a longer delay than, it's not going to be like a super long delay, but it is a delay. And, you know, I do wonder if part of the reason for the delay is... yeah, no, I couldn't get over it. I knew... Oh, God. So, yeah. Okay, so they're getting delayed, and they're not going to get delayed forever, supposedly. I do wonder if they are going to get delayed longer than that, though. Because, specifically... So, in the statement, they just say the games are getting delayed. Behind the scenes, though, you know, journalists have talked to the developers of the game, who have admitted that the reason for the delay is because they don't want to make the next Cyberpunk. And that's a fair thing. Because, well, yeah, it appears that Cyberpunk is playable nowadays. That took almost 2 years. Right, that took, or not, okay, maybe not 2 years, but it definitely took a good, like, year and a half for Cyberpunk to be in a playable state. And Bethesda games are infamously buggy. So, like, imagine a even more rushed Bethesda game. Just, like, it would be unplayable. And Bethesda games, like Fallout 76, were already kind of unplayable. So, like, you know, you don't want to make Starfield into the next Cyberpunk. Or, which I would say is even worse, you don't want to make it into the next Fallout 76. Because, yeah, I still stand by. Honestly, Fallout 76 burned. Like, Bethesda's never had... You know, Bethesda games have always been buggy. But any cred Bethesda had left, they burned with Fallout 76. I know people are still excited for Starfield, you know, but I'm not. I'm interested in Starfield, but, like, I'm not excited for it. Because Fallout 76 is the most fun I had out of a game I never played. Okay, that's technically not true nowadays, because I did eventually play it. But, for the longest time, that was the case. Fallout 76 was the most fun I had had out of a game I had never played. Nowadays, that honor belongs to Five Nights at Freddy's Security. The most fun I have played from a game I have never... Or the most fun I have had with a game I have never played. Which is that's also a dumpster fire like Cyberpunk. A clearly rushed game. Even though they delayed it several times. Which, again, if they're going... They're right now they're saying delay... At most, my thought is 6 months. Right? So if it would originally... It would probably be around... Right? It'd be releasing basically a year from now. I could see them pushing it a full year. To, 11/11/23. And I just don't make the next Cyberpunk. Honestly, this is, I think, Bethesda's last chance to earn back all their cred. I know people like Skyrim. I know people like Fallout 4. Those games are fucking buggy as shit. And you know, critics were way too nice to Bethesda with Skyrim, and they were then, as a result, way too nice with Fallout 4, and that's what led to 76. So let's hope that Starfield isn't the next 76 or the next Cyberpunk. Right? It could easily go that way. Easily. Yeah. Redfall, I don't have much. We haven't seen gameplay of either of these games. So like, Redfall, whatever. I'm more talking about Starfield here. I know literally nothing about Redfall, like, whatsoever. I mean, it looked okay. I don't know if they're on Game Pass, like, because Game Pass is pretty good. I don't know. There was one game that announced recently that it was getting even though it was announced for Xbox One and PS4, it is no longer coming to Xbox One and PS4. Oh, what game was that? Oh shit, I completely forgot. I don't remember. I know there was one recently. Alright, let's do perfect match and then I'll think about it. Okay, banana, cherry, grape, apple. 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 Banana, cherry, grape. What was it? I don't know. There was one game earlier in the week that, I think it was earlier this week, maybe it was last week, that was announced like that. Okay, watermelon, banana, orange. Watermelon, banana, orange, grape? Orange, grape. Watermelon, banana, orange, grape. Watermelon, banana. I think... Oh, is it this one that's apple? Okay, I thought it was one down below. Okay. And I think the next one up was cherry. This one was cherry. I know there was one game that was announced to, and it's no longer coming to last-gen consoles. Because we have now been in this current generation for a year now, so I guess it's time that the... Like the day after the PS5 and the Xbox Series X released, people were already calling the PS4 last-gen. And I didn't agree with that, especially because nobody had these systems. And a year later, tons of people still don't have these systems. But I think a year later, I'm finally... Maybe it's because I finally have the PS5 that I'm willing to say it. I don't know. But yeah. Also delayed, Dead Space. So, EA is remaking Dead Space. Whatever. I know the first Dead Space is good. It's EA. They're gonna fuck it up somehow. They infamously fucked up Dead Space 3. They're gonna fuck it up somehow. It's EA. But they're remaking the original Dead Space, and it was originally supposed to come out, I want to say October. It has been delayed to, like, the end of January. Which, if you know, at least in movies, January is horror movie season. So I guess that is sort of fitting. But yeah, so Dead Space has been delayed. Okay, whatever. You know, whatever. I wasn't going to pick it up anyways, so... You know, they can do whatever they want. Now, that does lead the question, though. So both of these games were announced delayed, like, within, like... I think it might have even been a few hours of each other. But that leads to ask the question. If these are both getting delayed... Well, first of all, what else is there for the holiday season? Like, these are all the big holiday games this year. And now they have all been delayed. So all the major holiday games have been delayed, with one exception. God of War Ragnarok. And of course, like, because Breath of the Wild was delayed. Yes, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Okay, fine. Fine with that one. Because, yeah, that's technically a big holiday game. But, no, what I'm getting at is God of War Ragnarok is one of the only games not delayed. So, is God of War Ragnarok getting delayed? It is entirely possible. Again, part of me wonders, like, what is the scope of God of War Ragnarok? Is it a smaller game like Spider-Man Miles Morales? Or is it like the original God of War? Is it somewheres in between? Because if it's more on the Miles Morales end, I totally can see it coming out this year. I cannot. I think I've only ever played this one once. This Leading Light. But yeah, so I don't know. I could see God, honestly, if in like the next month they announce God of War Ragnarok has been delayed, I would not be surprised. Again, we still technically are in COVID. I mean, that technically hasn't changed. Because, you know, people refuse to... And while, yes, COVID has burned through a lot of its fuel and killed a lot of conservatives, enough to potentially swing the vote in states. Well, we'll see. You know, we'll see. Oh, gosh. Come on. But yeah, I do definitely... That does definitely give me the inclination that it could be next. Honestly, anything could be delayed at this point. Okay, except for Pokemon, because Pokemon would rather release a bad game, so that way they can release all their cards and anime and whatnot, than release, than delay it. Because, you know, Pokemon's the largest multimedia franchise of all time. If they delay one thing, they have to delay everything. So they would rather release an unfinished game. It's the truth. Not that many people got eliminated from that. At least it didn't feel like it. I'm gonna switch over to some team games real quick. Or squad show, I mean. Yeah, I want to do some squad show. And then finally with this like delays and whatnot, Ubisoft put out a statement saying that Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Oh wait, Ubisoft, the company that mentally and physically abuses its employees, put out a statement that Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Skull and Bones, and the Avatar game, you know, James Cameron's Avatar, the one that got a new movie trailer recently. Yeah, all three of those games will be out by March 31st, 2023. Now, okay, Rabbids is one of those games that I think could genuinely be great. And it fucking sucks that Ubisoft is such a shitty company, because I would love to play that game. I loved the first one. I would love to play it, but I'm not going to because Ubisoft is such a shitty company. Skull and Bones... Oh, and with Mario plus Rabbids being out by March 31st, 2023, totally possible. The original game was revealed in June, released in August. Totally possible they could do that 3-month turnaround again. Totally. Easy. Skull and Bones has been in development hell since what, 2018, 2017? It's been a long time now. It's been in development hell. And I don't expect whatever comes... And it's sad, because the pirate stuff in Assassin's Creed... The pirate stuff was the best part of Assassin's Creed 3, and Assassin's Creed 4 might be the best game in the series. Again, I haven't played any of the newer ones, because fuck Ubisoft. But, Assassin's Creed 4 was great. And so taking the pirate stuff and making it its own game sounded like it could be so much fun, and then the game just went into development hell. And so, yeah, we haven't seen anything of it since, and I honestly don't if it happens, okay. If they've worked out all the kinks, whatever. I'm still not buying. I would have been genuinely loved to have bought this years ago. But, nope, Ubisoft's such a shitty company, so, nope, I'm done. Part of me is glad I know the truth, so I'm not supporting such a shitty company. You know? And then finally, the James Cameron Avatar game, I don't care. I don't give a shit about. Okay, so the new James Cameron Avatar movie, it looks like whatever, right? It might be good. I guess it looks fine. It might be good. The first Avatar is technically fine, but it has left no pop culture impact. And that's been measured under the statistic of fanfiction. You can measure how much of a pop culture impact something has had based on how often people make fan fiction about it. Or at least that's one possible measurement. And nobody... Like Harry Potter. Millions of fan fiction. Right? This Marvel, DC Comics. Millions of pieces of fan fiction. Avatar, 200. And I'm proud... Okay, Harry Potter I totally believe has a million pieces of fan fiction. Marvel, DC, who knows? But yeah, Avatar, like someone once measured it, and it only had like 200-300 pieces of fan fiction on fanfiction.net. And yeah, I think that's a great indicator of its cultural impact. So yeah, I don't give a shit about Avatar. I will probably see the new movie, but I don't care about the game. I don't care about Pandora World and Disney World or Disneyland. I don't remember which one it's in, honestly. I just don't care. I wish it told me on the screen who my team was. I'm gonna guess it's those two cookie guys on my left or right, but I don't know. But yeah. Now, you know what I can guarantee you is dead forever? Beyond Good and Evil 2. Michel Ancel, who was the director of that game, left Ubisoft because he was one of the people who mentally and physically abused his employees. So I guarantee we will never see that game again. It's dead. It's totally dead. Yeah, just saying. Just saying. Oh, and we have one of the swirly guys. Okay. But yeah, so those are all the delay. There's some speculation about God of War, and those are all the delays and whatnot. Again, fuck. I'm so tired of the Miyamoto quote. Fuck the Miyamoto quote at this point. It's just so overused. But yeah, that's where we're at. But yeah, every big holiday game except for God of War has been delayed at this point. I'm sure there's some other stuff I'm not even thinking about. And you know, I made the joke about like, oh, nothing wants to compete with Elden Ring. And that's true, but at the same time, the Game Awards are not the end-all be-all of things. You know, stuff exists outside of the Game Awards influence. No, but it does look like next year is going to be... I mean, next year is Breath of the Wild. I'm not going to say it's Breath of the Wild's birthright. But, like, Breath of the Wild is going to have to fuck up pretty hard to not win it next year. But, because, no, I don't even know what's is coming out this year. Even if God of War Ragnarok comes out this year, no, Elden Ring's got it. No. Next up, Pokemon Home. So, they announced Pokemon Home version 2 is coming out. And it will allow you to transfer Pokemon between Pokemon Home, Pokemon Sword and Shield, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and Pokemon Legends Arceus. And you can transfer them back and forth. So, like, as per my understanding, like, if you catch a Pokemon in, like, Diamond and Pearl, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, let's say you have an Empoleon. You can then transfer it over to Legends Arceus, and then you could take it out of Legends Arceus and transfer it back to Diamond and Pearl. Or, I'm trying to think of a Pokemon that exists in all three games. Let me think. What's a Gen... I don't think Bidoof's in Gen 4. I don't think Starrafter's in Gen 4. Or I mean Gen 8. I don't think Vespiquen's in Gen 8. I'm going through... Dialga. Dialga. I know Dialga's in all three of the games. So yeah, if you have a Dialga, you could transfer it back and forth between all three games. So there is no... Of course, the limitation is you can't transfer anything from Pokemon Go to Pokemon Home and then transfer it back to Pokemon Go. And you can't transfer anything from Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu to Pokemon Home and then transfer it back to Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. So, like, you couldn't capture a Pikachu in Gen 7 or in Gen 8 and then transfer it to Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Nope, that's off the table. But yeah, no, I do definitely... That's something I want them to, you know, have as long as Pokemon Home exists. Which they better not... Like, for Gen 9, they better not make a new platform. Like, it better just be Pokemon Home forever now. But yeah, so in the new generation, you like in Gen 9, let's say you catch a Pikachu, you better be able to take that Pikachu back to Sword and Shield. But, like, obviously, you can't transfer any of the new things to the old... So, like, if you have, like, one of the Zoroarks, the Hisuian Zoroark, you cannot transfer it to, Sword and Shield, right? And they're not going to update Sword and Shield to allow you to, like, to put it in there. No. But it's just stuck in Pokemon Home, but we know it will be accessible in whatever the new game is. Oh my god, I didn't realize I could grab onto that ledge. So yeah, that's the Pokemon Home. There is an interesting thing, though, that comes out of this, and I need a second to read this quote, because this is the interesting part. This is out of this whole thing, this is the interesting part. And the quote is, special Pokemon that can only be caught once. Oh shit. Special Pokemon that can only be caught once can only be deposited once per save file. So basically what that means is if you have Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl and you catch Dialga in Brilliant Diamond, but let's say a friend trades you a Dialga. Like, he played Brilliant Diamond, and he gives you his Dialga before he, like, restarts his game. You cannot send both those Dialgas to Pokemon Home. You can only move one of them. That is my understanding of it. Of course, if, let's say you start a file of Brilliant Diamond, catch Dialga, transfer it over to Home, then reset your save file and work back to Dialga, you can still transfer that new Dialga over. So it's not like there is only like you could infinitely restart your save file to get infinite of these Pokemon. And I'm assuming that also this applies to Pokemon like Shaman or Darkrai or Arceus, who are like these special event Pokemon. You could, as long as you keep restarting your save profile, you could get infinite of these. I'm just assuming anyways. So yeah, that's the one sort of caveat, and I kind of get it. But at the same time, I still stand by Pokemon should have no monetary value. Who cares if someone has 1 million Dialgas? It doesn't... Pokemon should have no monetary value. And the fact that the Pokemon Company keeps trying to give them monetary value with things like Pokemon Go's Shiny Mew actually does kind of piss me off. Oh, so we have to get 60 as a team. Okay. Oh, smart. So yeah, I know there was people who were talking in like the background of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl that the game's coding is just like a mess, and that makes it really hard to transfer over Pokemon to it. But it looks like they finally worked it out. But the one thing that is interesting about this, anyways, is that there is no way, okay, so the one thing about this is they didn't announce a release date. They literally just said coming soon. So we, at the moment, do not have a release date for... Ooh, gave it to us at 59. Interesting. So yeah, at the moment... Oh. Whatever. So at the moment, we don't have... They just said coming soon. We don't know when coming soon is. We just know it's happening at some point. So yeah, that was one of the announcement. That was part of this announcement. They, for some reason, didn't give a release date for this, which surprises me, because they could have waited a little while longer until they knew they'd have a release date, instead of just, I think they said like soon as the release date, but they didn't give an exact date, and I just find that interesting. I don't know. But no, this is, you know, Pokemon Home. At some point, I'm probably going to have to buy Pokemon Home. Because I have Pokemon, like, basically every Pokemon stored away in their respective games. With the exceptions of, I think, Gens 2 and Gen 5. So at some point, I gotta go in and, you know, get the Pokemon I'm missing from those respective games. And I started working on Gen 5, and I have a save file that's, like, a good chunk of ways through Gen 2. But yeah, at some point, I'm probably gonna have to buy Pokemon Home, just so I can get all those last Pokemon. It'll happen eventually. I'll get around to it. Alright, let's play defense. Do we have a golden egg? No, we don't. Okay, so next up, let's talk about Fall Guys, the big announcement. So Fall Guys announced that they're going to have a big announcement on Monday. So it's coming up in a few days, and they're just calling it the big announcement at the moment. They didn't say anything specific. It's just the big announcement. However, some details have surfaced since then. Specifically, like right after the reveal, they kind of hint, winked that it had something to do with the Nintendo Switch and Xbox versions. So what's happening in the big reveal? The primary guess is it's the Switch and Xbox versions. Nintendo of America's Twitter account even retweeted that it had something to do with that. So yeah, that's what it looks like it will be. That's the most likely thing this will be, the Xbox and the Switch versions. Which, okay, that makes perfect sense. Alright, let me water real quick. And please give us a good finale. This is a pretty good team. I think we've got this. And then, of course, even in the announcements page for the big announcement, they specifically say the Xbox and Switch versions. Now, okay, roll off we might be able to do. So, I don't remember when Fall Guys for Nintendo Switch and Xbox was announced. I want to say it was like in April of last year. It was, I mean, I don't think it was E3. I want to say it was like April. Because they announced it for summer. Then they delayed it from summer to like winter or like the end of the year. Then they delayed it from, right, 2022 to 2023. And when they delayed it to 2023, I was like, no, it's going to be delayed until summer, right? They're going to hit that original summer date. And that's where it looks like we're back at. So, I honestly would not be surprised if it comes out in the next, like, month. Like, legitimately, it could come out, like, the first week of June. I don't think they're going to shadow drop it. Like, that's not something that really happens outside of, like, directs. Oh, we've already lost one. But yeah, I don't think they're going to shadow drop it. But I think we're going to get it. It probably will come to Game Pass, if I had to. Well, okay, it might come to Game Pass. There is one sort of asterisk there that we will talk about in a minute. But if I had to guess, it might come to Game Pass, which would be a huge get for Game Pass. I know a lot of people still decry dead game. Again, the real dead games are the games nobody talks about. So, I don't know. But I could I mean, Among Us is on Game Pass. I could see Fall Guys being on Game Pass. But yeah, so that's the most likely candidate. And that's, not even is that the most likely candidate for this announcement. That's basically guaranteed for this announcement. Based on the fact that literally the banner says that it's coming for Xbox and PlayStation. No, that's basically guaranteed at this point. Okay, I'm going to focus on this real quick. We'll continue talking about what the big announcement could be in a second. I need to focus. Okay, I fucked that one up. I shouldn't have jumped there. I just didn't think I was going to make it. You're a oh, are you not a PC player? Oh my gosh, he actually did it. Holy shit. Again, we had a pretty good team that round. And I think that's a crown. Because I think I have 41. Yeah, that's a crown. Nice. Nice. We got, what, 2-3 crowns last week? Oh. Okay, give me a minute. Allergies have been kicking my ass all week. Oh my god, it's so bad. I might have to run and go get more water. But yeah, so like, look, even when it, like, big announcement. Tune in to hear the latest news about Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and more. So obviously that's the next, that's guaranteed. Next up, so the season we're currently in is, I want to say, season 7? I'm pretty sure we are. Actually, does it say if we hit home? Okay, we're in season 6. Okay, so the next season, season 7. So the next season is season 7. So it could, or if I'm gonna guess, the second thing that could be in the big announcement is season 7. They did this whole satellite event recently, which was like logic, bravery, courage, and all this. And that might have something to do with it. But they launched this whole satellite thing. So if I'm going to guess, the next season's going to be space. Because what? First season didn't have a theme. Second theme was nights. Third season was winter. Fourth season was cyberpunk. Fifth season was jungle. Sixth season was party. Seventh season's going to be space. Yep. I'm calling it right now. It's pretty obvious. But yeah, they're going to announce the next season. And it would make sense if the next season launches with the Xbox and Switch versions. Because that was something I was predicting with season 5. That it was going to come out with the Xbox and Switch versions. But then when it got delayed, I was like, oh, okay, whatever. But that would make sense, have a brand new season pass so that all the new players on Switch and PlayStation can, boom, it's like they're starting brand new and fresh. But of course, if you already have the game, and if you have an Epic Game Store account, all your progress migrates. So like if I buy Fall Guys on Switch, I can... crossplay will be available, which, yes, they did finally work out crossplay. I know that was another reason for the delays, if I had to guess. But yeah, for the past, month or two, you've been able to play PC and, PlayStation. With the Epic Game Store account. So that's been something that's been in the game for a little bit now, but I knew it was something that had to be worked out before we got the game on, Switch and Xbox. So, but yeah, having all 4 versions crossplay, huge. And in the final part of the big announcement, this is the thing, when looking at the reveal, the tweet of the big announcement, the number one comment I saw below it, well, besides for Dead Game, because, again, people still decry Dead Game, fucking 2 years later? It's been almost 2 years since this game came out. Has it been longer? No, it's been 2 years, because they've done 2 April Fool's Day events. And people still decry Dead Game. Again, when was the last time somebody talked about Bleeding Edge? But, did Bleeding Edge's servers get shut down now that I'm thinking about it? I honestly don't know. But the final thing that people are, the thing that people say will save this game is if they make it free to play. I mean, on PlayStation, I didn't pay any money for this. It came with PS Plus. You know, yeah, I didn't pay a dime for this game. So yeah, making it ever since they got bought out by Epic Game Store, free to play has been one of those things that always kind of made sense. But you know, you never knew if they would actually do or not. I always thought it would be cool, but you never knew if they'd actually do it. And it looks like, and at least people on Twitter are convinced that, like, this is what the other part of the big announcement's going to be. That the game's gone free to play. And maybe. You know, it would make sense if you're launching it on new systems to just be like, yep, here you go, free to play. You can just start playing Fall Guys on Nintendo Switch, and you don't have to put any new money in. You don't have to buy it or anything. That would be good. But I don't know if the game needs that. Because while people love to decry dead game, the game ain't dead. People are still playing it. You know, look. And I know part of the other reason people say, oh, it's going to do this, is because, you know, they've been bought by Epic Games Store. And, you know, Fortnite is free to play, and Fortnite has seen a lot of success with the free to play model. So it would make sense for Fall Guys to do a similar model. Which personally I kind of don't like, because I don't want when Fall Guys goes free to play, that means more monetization. I'm already kind of like, I already have some mixed feelings on Fall Guys' monetization. Right? For a game you pay money for, I don't like that it has microtransactions. Oh, god damn it. Right, that's something I don't entirely care for. Huh, qualified as 21. Whatever. Yeah, I don't really like that Fall Guys has microtransactions. For, like, every season they introduce, like, the best 3 cosmetic skins they set aside for microtransactions, and I don't love that. But, you know, it could be worse. And I do worry if they start, now that they're under Epic, if they go free to play, they're gonna make it worse. Are the season passes, right? The season passes like we currently have them, are they going to start charging money for them? Is there going to be 2 season passes every season? Because I think there is, was it Pokemon Unite that works like that? Where it has 2 season passes. The season pass you get for free, and the season pass you pay for. I don't like that. I don't fucking like that. I don't want that. I would rather pay for the game. Even though, again, personally, I didn't pay for the game. But I would rather pay for the game again and put up with its minimal, right, it's 3 microtransactions per month, than like a whole free-to-play season pass bullshit. No, so I actually don't want the game to go free-to-play. Now, of course, that probably goes, part of that contingent is I don't plan on picking up the game again. I'm perfectly happy playing it on PS5, works well enough for me, I don't plan on picking it up again. So that is part of the contingent for that, I will say. I wonder, actually thinking about it, I wonder if they're going to do a PS5 version. Because I know they put out the new PlayStation launcher, but as far as I know, there is no PS5 version. It's still, the new launcher is specifically in the PS4 version of the game. So I do wonder about that. If they're going to put out, right, like a version that's just, because you know the new Xbox version, while it will probably work on both Xbox and Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S, I guess. I don't know. I mean, they don't need to, but it was just something I was thinking. It's just something that popped into my head. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so that's the big announcement. It could just be the Switch versions, but I'm gonna guess there's gonna be at least one other thing. Oh my god, I got screwed. I'm gonna guess there's gonna be at least one other thing. That just makes logical sense. Yeah, I got screwed over there, and that's our team out. Okay. I need to go get some more water. And of course, yeah, if we're in a team game and... whatever. Yeah, whatever. It's not like I need the rewards. I mean, look how much freaking money I have and whatnot. I don't know. I'm worried about what they could do microtransaction-wise. I'm going to go get some more water. I don't have a slide for getting more water. Huh. Maybe I should make one. Whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna go get some more water. I'll be right back. Because, yeah, the next thing, when we get back, we're talking Minecraft. Oh, we've got some Minecraft controversy. And, oh boy, am I one of the ones with the hot take. Okay, so Minecraft got a new snapshot, and they're adding in little things, but it's mostly just bug fixes at this point. And what that means, when a snapshot is mostly bug fixes, they're getting ready to release the next version. So 1.19, I think it's 1.19, it might be 1.18, but I think it's 1.19. The Wild update, if I'm going to take a guess right now, and I'm going to guess it's going to come out June 24th. So that's about a month. That's a little more than a month away. I'm going to predict right now that the Wild update is going to come out. But people have been asking recently, like, oh, with the Wild update so near, where there's some features that seem to be missing. Right? Like, where's the Fireflies? Because I am 99% sure Fireflies were in a Java edition snapshot. Or whatever, they're called like test versions or on Java edition. I'm like 99% sure they were in there at some point. But they've never been in a mainline snapshot. And then there was also in the snapshot stuff, one of the things that they announced for the Wild update was they were going to be adding more like ambient complex biomes, including like redoing the birch forest or adding a new birch forest biome. And you know, they've been putting a lot of effort into the mangrove swamp, mangrove, and you know, it looks pretty decent all things considered. But that's been one of the right talking points. It's like, hey, you said there was going to be, you'd shown concept art for like a birch forest biome with like hollow logs and like new mushroom logs. Like, where is it? And so Mojang put out a video, which of course we can't actually see the dislikes for. Like, we can only guess at how many dislikes it has. I'm sure there's a behind the scenes way to look. But so I'm gonna guess it's widely disliked. Because in it, it's like a Q&A with Mojang. And they say, let's start with the Birch Forest one first. They say that Birch Forest, while it was concept art does not mean that they're going to put it into the game. It's simply that, concept art. And after working on the game, they have decided that they're no longer in development of the Birch Forest. Right? Their ideas for the Birch Forest, it's just no longer in development. Concept art is not promise of a feature. So yeah, they've stopped developing Birch Forest. Okay. Then they announced that they have also removed fireflies from the game. Because their original idea was, oh, you'd have fireflies in the swamp, and the frogs would be able to eat the fireflies. But Mojang has since learned that many species of fireflies are actually poisonous to frogs. So they're claiming that they're taking fireflies out of the game because they don't want, like, kids to learn that, like, oh, well, frogs can eat fireflies, right? It's poisonous. Now, this does have a precedent. Famously, Mojang had it so that you could feed cookies to parrots. But people told them, like, no, cookies are actually poisonous to parrots. Specifically, like, chocolate chips or whatever. You know, same thing with dogs. Chocolate chip cookies are poisonous to dogs. So, right, and as a result, they made it so that you can no longer feed cookies to parrots. Okay, so that's what happened. Okay, and as a result, people have kind of like been like, what? That's kind of bullshit. Because why remove, like, okay, the fact that they're removing, right, the fact that, like, they're stopping frogs from eating fireflies, I think makes sense. Again, it has precedent. Mojang is aware that a lot of, specifically with the parrot thing, they're aware that a lot of kids play Minecraft, and they don't want some kid playing Minecraft who has a real-life parrot and then feeding their real-life parrots cookies after seeing it done in the game. I get that. But one, it's a video game. But, you know, even with it being a video game, I still get their stance. You know, that's fine. But there is no reason for them to remove fireflies from the game. Because you know what they could have done? They could have just made it so that the frogs no longer eat the fireflies. You know, keep those fireflies in there for ambience and just have it so that the frogs no longer eat them. But no, that's not what they did. Instead, they just straight up removed fireflies. Again, technically, I think they were only ever in a Bedrock snapshot. So it's not like they were in. So it's not like they were in the game and then they were removed. They were only in that one specific version before being removed. But yeah, they just straight up decide to remove fireflies because, yeah, they don't want people poisoning the frogs. And people have been like, no. And the internet at large has been like, no, this is dumb. And, right, because they could have just made it so the frogs don't eat the fireflies. Because instead, frogs now eat slimes and magma cubes. And that's fine. Because I think for a lot of people, this removing of the fireflies is representative of the larger problems at Mojang. Like, there's the whole environmentalist aspect, which, again, they've said that they will never make, like, a shark enemy in the game. Because they don't want to use real-life animals in the game, right, as, like, enemies. That's why all, like, real-life animals are passive. And instead, if they're going to add any, like, hostile mobs, that's the word I was looking for, they're going to make them, right, imaginary stuff, like wardens, and creepers, and skeletons, because guess what? Skeletons aren't real. Video game enemy. You know. But yeah, no, this removing of the fireflies, and their reason, everyone agrees their reason is bullshit, right? There's no, you could leave them in the game because of ambience. It shouldn't be that hard to program out the frogs eating the fireflies. And you could even just add another line in the code that would say, like, oh yeah, even though frogs can eat the fireflies, that's now untrue. Right, there's 1,000 fixes to this while leaving in fireflies. So it's bullshit. Right? But it's representative of what Minecraft is becoming, because a lot of people this was before even this was revealed. A lot of people had already been joking that this wild update is just Caves and Cliffs update 3.0. Or this is just Caves and Cliffs update part 3 is what I meant. Hey, Brainless, how you doing? Nice to see you on this night. So yeah, a lot of people had been joking that, like, oh, this is Caves and Cliffs 3.0. And yeah, them getting rid of fireflies, yeah, it basically cements that. Like, everyone's kind of in agreement that, yeah, this is just Caves and Cliffs 3.0. Now, I'm not saying that, like, I know that is kind of an insult, but I'm not saying that to, like, discredit what's in the wild update. Because I think the new cities, the warden, all that stuff is pretty cool, right? I'm genuinely interested in playing with that stuff. But it's called the wild update because it was all about adding, like, wild to the game. Which, now we just have mangrove swamps. And the new swamps don't even have fireflies in them. It's just, and then people are, like, pointing out, like, oh, this is just the next thing removed, or the next feature forgotten about. Both of these things, when there are, like, hundreds of other features that have also been forgotten about. I mean, who knows when archaeology is coming? I think they've already said it's not going to be in the next update, 1.20. Remember when a few updates back, when they added in all those new tables and whatnot, and they added in a fletching table, and say that, oh yeah, we're just future-proofing the game. Fletching table still doesn't do anything. How many updates later? And yeah, the fletching table does nothing. Bundles. They introduced, I think they were working on bundles in 1.18. Nope, still not working. Admittedly, bundles have a larger problem. But yeah, this is just another thing done by Mojang that is just forgotten about. Because, okay, so when it came to Caves and Cliffs, the Caves and Cliffs update, when it got split in two, they announced the reason they were doing it is because they didn't want to overwork their staff, and they didn't want to crunch their staff, right? They didn't want to crunch them, they didn't want to overwork them. And I still think that's good, right? That's still a good reason. I would much rather have Mojang have a healthy staff in a healthy work environment than anything else. I'm fine with that. And I'm fine with that proceeding, right? I want them to keep that in mind, right? I think that's important. But at the same time, this is also the Pokemon dilemma. So the Pokemon dilemma is that Pokemon is the best-selling game. No. Pokemon is the highest grossing multimedia franchise of all time. Makes more money than Marvel in the MCU. Makes more money than Harry Potter. Makes more money than Star Wars. Right? Highest grossing multimedia franchise of all time. And yet Pokemon games can't render a tree properly. Pokemon games don't have all of the Pokemon in it. The first open world Pokemon game was the most recent one. Right? People will point, and again, think of those problems whatever you will. Again, bring back the National Dex is not something I really actually give a shit about. But think those problems whatever you will. It doesn't change the fact that Pokemon games are kind of underwhelming, even though it's the highest grossing multimedia franchise of all time. Minecraft is in the exact same problem. Minecraft is the best-selling game of all time. It sold more copies than anything else, even Tetris. It's one of the biggest games ever. And yet their updates just kind of feel so small in comparison. Especially when you look at it from what modders do. Modders within a day, when they were doing the mob vote, within a day of the mob vote being announced, People had working mods that added the copper golem, that added the allay, that added the third thing that's name I don't remember. All of those were in the game with mods within a day. And yet the Mojang developers can only add in one of them. And now part of me gets it, because modders only have to worry about Java Edition, and if their mod has bugs, no big deal, right? They're allowed to. It's a mod. Mojang has to make sure their game doesn't have bugs, and they have to develop it for 2 versions for PC, a version for Xbox, a version for PlayStation, a version for Switch, and a version for mobile phones. They have to make sure all of those versions work. So, like, I get that. And they can't, like, the more bugs they have, the more people will, like, turn against them. Right? Like, they can't, like, mods can have all the bugs in the world. Okay, like, they shouldn't, like, brick your game, but you know what I mean. Mods are allowed to have bugs. People are far more forgiving for mods. But, yeah, Mojang just... And, like, I don't know how big of staff Mojang is. Like, I know when it comes to the Pokemon Company, part of the reason people... one of the big complaints brought up during Gen 7, or Gen 8, all the controversies, was that the Pokemon Company, for the mainline Pokemon games, has a staff of about 50 people. Right? So there were about 50 people working on Sword and Shield. You know what other game had 50 people working on it? Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And those games are immaculate. Those games have so much going on in them. And yet Pokemon, with a higher budget, backed by the highest grossing franchise of all time, can barely render a tree. Whereas Xenoblade Chronicles can create these mystical open worlds filled with so much. And again, development teams of the same size and about the same development timeline. And Mojang is kind of facing that same problem. Like, I don't know how large the Mojang staff is, but they're the highest grossing game of all time. I don't think there were any bananas. Yeah. So yeah, no, it does point out, right, that, like, oh, if both these things are 2 of the highest grossing things of all time, they could have bigger scopes. They could do greater things. But no, they can't even add Fireflies to Minecraft. It just, it really does, it really does demonstrate that problem. And there's one other problem it shares with Pokemon. And I've been thinking about, this specifically the bundles made me think of this. So in Pokemon, in Minecraft, you had these bundles. And because one of the big problems with Minecraft is that there's not enough inventory space. That the more blocks they add to the game, the more things that players need to hold on to like, explore the world, the more messed up their inventory becomes. It's like they added a new enchantment to the game. That was Swift Sneak. And originally it was a shoe enchantment. But they already had the Soul Walker one, which was also a shoe enchantment. So you know what they did? They made Swift Sneak a leg enchantment, just so that you could so that way you could have like more space for like other enchantments, right? Like they specifically changed it because you only have so many items you can hold on to, and plus there are things like Elytra, so that way you can't wear a chest plate. There's the turtle helmet thing, which is a whole other thing to get into. But yeah, Minecraft has an inventory problem. Mojang acknowledges it. And so as a solution, instead of adding more inventory slots, they create the bundles. And the bundles are supposed to be the solution to this inventory problem. But the bundles, they're not in the game, and they're not, even though they've been in development for like a year now, they're not in the next update, and who knows when they'll be out, because they're trying to solve a problem by giving you these bundles that will hold all the small stuff. But it just doesn't work because it's not actually solving the problem. Instead, it's creating a new problem. And you know what would actually solve the problem? Adding more inventory slots. But they can't do that because that changes what Minecraft is. Or at least there's this perception that changes like what Minecraft is. And you know who else has that exact same problem? The Pokemon Company. When developing more recent Pokemon games, the Pokemon Company has been like, hey, what if we make some changes? Like, I guess when working on Gen 8, they considered removing turn-based combat. But the development staff pushed back against it, specifically the younger ones. So when developing Breath of the Wild, Nintendo brought in a bunch of young developers who could breathe life into the Zelda franchise and add new and interesting things, which got us Breath of the Wild, right? With all these new and interesting things. Pokemon tried to replicate that, but instead all these new younger staff members were like, no, we can't get rid of turn-based battling because that's how Pokemon is. That's how Pokemon has always worked. Right? Like, they couldn't change... That's why a lot of people have problems with Gen 8, is that Pokemon, they think Gen 8 plays it too safe. And it does play it too safe. Because that's how a Pokemon game is perceived to be. That's why Legends Arceus is so refreshing, because, well, yes, it still does have turn-based battling, and maybe it shouldn't have. It's fine that it does, but maybe it shouldn't have. They could have added in new stuff. They could have made more changes, right? The only one locking them to this is themselves. And yeah, this is a problem that Pokemon has, and this is also a problem that it looks like Mojang is having. Because they can add new features to Minecraft, but you also can't change Minecraft too much. Right? Like, there's only so... They don't want to change it too much, because then they might change what the game is. Right? Minecraft... There are, I think, 36 inventory slots in Minecraft. Right? You have your hotbar, which is 1 through 9, and then you have 3 rows above that. I think it's 36. I'm not going to even do the math. I'm just going to pretend that's the answer. But the only reason we have those amounts of inventory slots is because when Notch made the game, he decided it should be 1 through 9, and then just added 4 more slots. Right, or 3 rows above that. Notch could have, when making the game, theoretically, just been like, oh, what if we make the inventory 1 through 0 on the keyboard? And had 10 slots, and then added 3 rows above that. Then the inventory would have been 40. It's literally a completely arbitrary number. And same thing, he could have been like, oh, well, maybe the player should only have 2 rows. And we would still have 2 rows to this day. It's completely arbitrary. So Mojang is worried so much about changing the game because Minecraft is now this famous thing. They can't change it too much because they're afraid to, right? That, oh, people have these certain expectations and they can't deviate from that because that will change what Minecraft is. Bundles are not the solution. You know what would be the solution? Giving you an item that will allow you to add new inventory slots. Giving you another row, while it wouldn't, like, totally fix everything, it would help a lot. It really would. Even adding, like, 6 inventory slots on each side would do a world of wonder. So adding 12 more slots, that would be fantastic. But no, they're worried it's going to change too much about Minecraft is, because a decade plus ago, Notch just randomly decided to make it that. I mean, the reasoning makes enough sense, but it also... there's no reason it couldn't be changed. Oh, we actually won that round. And yeah, it highlights that bigger problem in Minecraft, is that, yeah, now... Because the Mojang developers have said that they don't want to change the game too much. That part of them developing the game is finding that balance of adding new stuff without changing how the game feels overall. And I feel like that also becomes a problem with rewards. While I'm excited for this new Deep Dark and like being able to explore it, right now, I feel like there just isn't a reason to explore it. Because the loot you find in the Deep Dark just isn't interesting enough. Sure, the new record is interesting and it'll be a nice trophy to add on my shelf. The Death Compass, I think, is a good idea. But that's it. You can add more interesting stuff to the game. You can make these changes, break from the mold to make a better game, right? They're just playing it too safe because they have all these expectations. And the same thing is true about the Pokemon Company. They're playing it safe because they have all these expectations put upon them. And I don't even want to talk about like the whole graphics thing. That, oh, Minecraft and Pokemon have these lesser graphics. So it's like you'd expect them to do like these other cool and interesting things, and they just don't. Right? Minecraft is a 16-bit game at the end of the day. You don't have to have ray tracing, right? Like they were talking about adding ray tracing to the game, and they just couldn't do it, so they gave up on the feature. Even though mods have been doing it for like a decade now. Okay, maybe you know what I mean. They called it like the super duper graphics pack. You know what I mean, right? There's all these things, because it does also highlight one of the unique things about Minecraft, is that we see the development of Minecraft in real time as it happens. Minecraft is literally the only game I can think of that does the snapshot thing, where on a weekly basis, we're getting new information about the game. We're seeing what new features get added to the game. It's probably not the only game that does it, but it's definitely the biggest game that does it. Right? And as a result, this kind of creates a problem of that when you're developing something and it doesn't work. Right? Like the bundles. The bundles aren't working, so they just remove them from the game. But people still expect the bundles at some point because they were in the snapshots and whatnot. And that might be what's happening with the Birch Forest. They've been working on the Birch Forest in the background. And even though it hasn't been any snapshots, they've been working on it. And it just hasn't been working out. So as a result, they've canceled it. It makes me think of a story on No Man's Skies. On the development of No Man's Skies, while the game was in development, they had it so that the planets would rotate. So you would have... this was a feature they had promised, and they had it working in the game. So like you could take off from the planet, stay at the same point, and then land back on the planet, and you'd land at a different spot because the planet would rotate beneath you. They had it working in the game, but in the final release of the game, that's not there, because during beta testing, people found it confusing, because, right, taking off and then trying to land back on the same spot, and you were just somewhere completely different, right, that just didn't gel with players. It confused them. So they took it out of the game. But that was added in the lists of things people complained about from No Man's Skies, even though it was a feature that just straight up, it was in the game, it just didn't, right, it didn't gel well with players. It didn't make the gameplay better, so they took it out. But people still held it against the game. Statistically, there is someone who still complains about it to this day. Even though they know that it makes the game more confusing, they'd rather have it in there because Sean Murray promised it. And maybe that's what happened with the Birch Forest. Maybe they had these ideas for like new features, and then so they announced like they were working on the Birch Forest, and then those features didn't work out, so they just scrapped it. But because of how these snapshot things work and the like, right, we're seeing it all in real time. And it's because right now they've been working with these bundles, but the bundles just don't work. So we're seeing it play out in real time, how the bundles just don't work. So when they do eventually get scrapped from the game, that's what's going to happen. Right? That's just how I'm like thinking about it. Like that's what we're seeing with Minecraft's development that is in a way wholly unique to Minecraft. So yeah, when these features get scrapped for any number of reasons, we just see it as another missing feature. Maybe they had something planned for the fletching table that just wasn't fun, or that didn't, like, it just made the game needlessly complicated, so they scrapped it. But then that asks, like, why not just remove the fletching table? And yeah, fair enough. It's just the complication that is Minecraft at the end of the day. But yeah, and this all takes us back to the Fireflies. in some form, they had the Fireflies in the game. And then they removed them because they learned that that they're poisonous to frogs. But why not just keep them in the game anyways? It's 2 pixels. It couldn't have been... They had it working in at least one version. I swear they did. I swear they had Fireflies in Bedrock Edition. It might have been Java Edition. I swear I saw them. I didn't comb through like Exuma snapshot videos to look for it, but I swear I remember seeing it at one point. But yeah, because of course my hope with Fireflies was, okay, you've got these Fireflies, they add nice ambience to the swamp, but maybe you'd be able to craft like a special like cosmetic bottle that you then be able to bottle up Fireflies in. And I'm sure someone will say, well, oh, when you bottle up Fireflies, you actually kill them. And oh, we don't want to spread that message to kids or whatever. You know, it's a classic image. There is some separation between video game and real life. And it would have been cool to have a bottle. And, like, the bottle could store more than just Fireflies. Like, you could make this cosmetic bottle that you could place down, and you could store milk and water in it. And maybe you could even store other stuff. Like, maybe it could be used to store sugar and wheat. Maybe you could put cookies in it. Right? Like, there's other stuff you could do with this cosmetic bottle. But then they'd also make it so that, oh, you can place the bottle down near Fireflies, leave it alone for a little bit, come back, and it would have Fireflies in it. And then you could break the bottle, take it over to like your base or whatnot, and now you have a bottle of Fireflies in your base. That would have been genuinely really cool. And that was when they announced Fireflies, because, you know, they're 2 pixels. They're just 2 pixels. But they could have cosmetically led to some great things. And now, because Fireflies are poisonous, they've just been completely removed. All those cosmetic possibilities, gone forever now. And yeah, they might have never planned, right? They never planned to add bottled Fireflies to the game, which I think would have been dumb. I mean, if you're going to add Fireflies, you might as well do the most famous thing associated with them, right? But it's just right. It really does point the problem or the position that Mojang has put themselves in nowadays with these snapshots and with how changes they add to the game, and that technically, and also the other thing we have to think about is that all these updates are free. Yes, I know Minecraft Bedrock Edition does have a store. Right? It has a microtransaction store that has a premium currency. So they're still, if you buy the game on any console, they're still making money off of that version of the game. That hasn't changed. But yeah, all these updates are technically free. And then maybe it's also the thing that they want to that part of the reason they're not doing Birch Forest is because they wanted to move on from the Caves and Cliffs update. They want to start working on. A lot of people are speculating about a new dimension, and maybe now that they've broken up the Caves and Cliffs update into 3 updates, maybe it's finally time they start working on that. Maybe they'd rather, as a development staff, they'd find working on a new biome kind of boring, and they don't find it that interesting. So they'd rather revitalize their creative spirit and work on something entirely new. But why not add the Fireflies into the game? Because they provide a good bit of ambience. It's just... I know I've said... this past half hour, I've talked about a lot of different things. And I know it's kind of a mess. And my brain is kind of scrambled. But my point is that these Fireflies are representative of a larger issue in Minecraft. And while, yeah, them not being, I'm not going to boycott the game. I'm not going to I'm still excited for the Wild update. It's just symbolic that Mojang in Minecraft have put themselves into not an unwinnable position, but they've backed themselves into a corner. They're trapped in an RV. The DEA is right outside their door, and they have no idea what to do. And they can't just fake a phone call to call their wife, or to call the DEA agent and say his wife is in the hospital. Right? They're in that corner, and that's not an option. And I didn't even bring up that Mojang / Minecraft is owned by Microsoft. And as a result, they have Microsoft's backing. So they could, if they needed like more money, they could go to Papa Microsoft and get more money from them. I didn't even mention that. It's just something to think. It's a lot to think about. But no, I totally do think they should add fireflies into the game. Right? I want to be able to bottle fireflies and add them to my campsite. That would be super cute. Alright, let's move on, shall we? So, what have I been playing? God, we're 2 hours in. I knew I was going to talk about Minecraft Fireflies for a while. I knew that was going to happen. So... I finally played Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. Took me like 2 hours. I was going to get all the achievements in the game, but 2 of the achievements are bugged. You can't get 2 of the achievements. So that sucks. But other than that, I played through the rest of the game. I did the story mode. Spoiler alert, there's a true ending in the game. I did the true ending. I messed around with the DLC, and we'll talk about that. But yeah, Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. For some reason, I thought the Turnip Boy talked. No, he's a silent protagonist, so take that however you will. But yeah, so you're a turnip boy, you commit tax evasion, and now to pay off your debt, to pay off your taxes, you have to work for the Onion Mayor, who has you doing like a series of trials, you know, Hercules style. But immediately, it is made apparent that the Onion is evil. Like, legitimately, like, he's an asshole to you. And, like, in the first tasks he has you do, he's just, like, yelling at you. And, yeah, it's immediately made apparent that the Onion Mayor is the real villain. But, yeah, you're just going around the game, doing these tasks, helping the people out. It's a Zelda-like game, so, you know, you're doing it, like, you're going around with a sword, fighting enemies, collecting hearts, you know, you go into dungeons and beat bosses. It's a really short game. I think it took me 2 hours to 100% it. So it was real quick in and out. But I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. I think it's a really fun Zelda-like. It'll be interesting to compare it to Tunic when I eventually sit down and play Tunic one of these days. I don't know when that's going to happen, obviously. But yeah, because Tunic is also a Zelda-like. But Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion is a very solid game. It's very simple. Like, the one thing I can compare, another indie Zelda-like that I can compare it to, Blossom Tale. I will say I think Blossom Tale has more content in it. Which, if you ever... I'd recommend Blossom Tale, especially if you see it on sale. More than worth it. But yeah, it's definitely... Whereas Blossom Tale is very clearly inspired by Link to the Past, Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion is inspired by, I'd say, Minish Cape. That's the one it reminds me of. Maybe... I don't want to say Link's Awakening. I would definitely say Minish Cape, maybe Oracle of Ages and Seasons. Honestly, I don't really remember Oracle of Ages. Oracle of Ages and Seasons are the Zelda games I have the least experience with, specifically because I've never played Oracle of Ages. But yeah, no, it definitely, Minish Cape is the one that this Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. Even though I will say Minish Cape is also a longer game. Not that length means everything, obviously. But yeah, you go around and you're like ripping up documents, you get new items, but you only get like 2 or 3 new items. There's not that much. There's only 2 or 3 dungeons in the game. It's all very simple and straightforward. There are some story elements that I found interesting that I did not see coming. That without being specific, there are story beats in this game that are very similar to Adventure Time. But, you know, instead of candy people, it's vegetable people. Even though there's, like, other... Ooh, I've never done that before. Even though there are other, like, people, like, there's a macaroni person at one point. So, like, it's not all vegetables. But yeah, so that's a thing. But yeah, no, there are definitely some elements that are like Adventure Time, and it definitely does go some places. I played it on Game Pass, so if you have Game Pass, you might as well play it. Again, 2 hours, really, it's a fun 2-hour experience, and that's getting every achievement, and that's doing the messing around with the DLC. It does suck those 2 achievements are bugs, though. I do want to get those if they ever fix that. I don't even know where how I'd figure out they were fixed. Because there is a DLC that was released, and it's called Sunset Station. And so if the original game is a Zelda-like, Sunset Station adds in a roguelike element. You're on so it uses the combat from the game, and you're on a train, and as you travel down the train, you beat up enemies and bosses from the game. There's even a bunch of unique enemies as well. So you beat up enemies and bosses, and you collect items. So like, I got a lighter that has a chance of lighting enemies on fire, right? And it's stuff like that, and as you beat it, you collect train tickets, and you can use those train tickets to unlock new cosmetics and whatnot. And yeah, for adding for a free DLC that adds in minimal roguelike elements, it's fine. I didn't put that much time into it. I put enough time to do the achievements, because there's one achievement to get defeated, one achievement to beat a certain character. The other achievement is to beat another certain character that's bugged. So you have a rare chance of finding this one character, and you do it, and then the achievement's bugged, so I didn't get it, which was annoying. So I'll have to take my chance again one day and find that rare character again. But I don't know when that's going to happen. But yeah, just adding minimal roguelike elements, it's okay. It does, because you're on this infinite train, it does kind of get pretty predictable, I would say. You'll see a lot of the same enemies a lot of times. And you'll fight, because the game is so small by default, when you get into this train with all the enemies, there aren't that many enemies in the game. There aren't that many bosses. So you fight a lot of them over and over again. And you're basically going in I'd say a 9, maybe 12 car loop. It's probably a 12 car loop. And then and of course it does add modifiers, once you do the first, your first run, I guess, your first loop, your first 12 loop, it will then add oh, now there are certain enemies that are larger, there are certain enemies that have more defense, more damage, these enemies have poison, right? It adds stuff like that. It's a good game. It's definitely a good Game Pass game. Because it's 2 hours long. If I had paid for it, I would say I got my money's worth out of it, but I didn't. But I paid for Game Pass, so yeah, more than worth it. But yeah, it will be interesting to compare it to Tunic when I eventually get to that. I should play Blossom Tales again. I don't have the time. Yeah, I would say Blossom Tale definitely has more content in this. Yeah, that's also a really good game, and that one's getting a sequel soon. They're both, but Blossom Tale's not on Game Pass, so yeah. Yeah, Blossom Tale is getting a sequel. Oh, that's gonna be fun when that comes out. Oh, and then there's Mina the Hollower, which is based on Link's Awakening. There's a lot of good Zelda likes, man. Even though I think Mina the Hollower is a year out. And then I played more Nintendo Switch Sports. So I've been doing the bowling. I've been doing the bowling events. Last week I talked about, I've been doing the bowling. I've been trying to get all the unlocks and whatnot. Last week I talked about how I was confused because I saw this other bowling ball, right? I saw people using a pastel bowling ball and someone using a wooden bowling ball, and I was how did they get these? I found out through a Northern Lion video of all things, because I saw Northern Lion make a video where he had where in the thumbnail he had a wooden bowling ball, and I was like, how did he get that? So I'm gonna watch, because there's a tricolor bowling ball, like a red, yellow, blue bowling ball that I have. So I was like, I'll watch the Northern Lion video and see how he got his wooden ball. So I watch it, and on the like unlock stamps, where my tricolor ball is, he has a wooden bowling ball. And that's when I realized, oh, in every like collection, there are certain unlocks that are randomized. So whereas my unlock had the tricolor bowling ball, his unlock had the wooden ball, and there are other people who probably have the pastel ball. Okay, and same thing with the sword. In the first series of unlocks, the first collection, I had like a unicorn sword, but other people had like a knight sword and whatnot. So that's what's happening. That's why I was so confused at how other people had these unique balls. It's because they're different right? They're different for different people. That makes so much more sense now. Okay. Still, I would still like to get all the wooden in the pastel ball, but that'll happen when that happens, clearly. But yeah, so I found out that I've played all the I think I mentioned this last time. Probably. I've played all the sports in Wii Sports. I still like badminton. Soccer's okay. Soccer's pretty decent. Volleyball is all about timing. It's whatever. I don't know. I'm enjoying the game. I've come back to it, and I've played bowling several times. I've played it online a bunch to, try to get all these unlocks and whatnot. They finally added the newest collection that got added yesterday. Maybe it was 2 days ago now. Allows you to get the squirrel body. So for people who have wanted to be a furry, boom, now you have the chance to be the furry. So yeah, that's finally unlockable. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I did take it over to my family, and I played it with my parents and my brothers, and I got my ass kicked. Yeah, even though, my current bowling record is, I think it's, 256, 246. It's something that ends with, like, a 6. But yeah, nope, got smoked out of the water. Even though I'm like, okay, I'm getting better at bowling. I don't know, man. I'm not actually doing that well, all things considered, I'm actually not that great at bowling. Like, I'm trying, but I don't know. Like, I feel like I get something that works, where it's like, oh, if I can get like a turkey, or I've been able to get the 5 strikes in a row, but even though I can get that somewhat consistent, it's never consistent enough. Or it's never as consistent as I want it to be. Like, I feel like I should be able to get it even more consistent, and it just never works out exactly how I want it to. But I'm still chipping away at it. Eventually I will get a 300 game. It's just, oh god, I'm gonna have to play literally the best Nintendo Switch sports of my life. Yeah. I got my ass kicked. Something that does annoy me is I can't figure out how, so you can add guests, and people can customize the guests and whatnot. But I tried to hit add user, and it just wouldn't let me. Like, it literally wouldn't let me add user. And I don't get that at all. And part of me, I did buy the game digitally, and part of me does regret that, but I'm wondering if that has something to do with it. Like, if I were to add user, the other users have to own the game digitally as well. Because as far as I know, like, the Switch does, like, limit you on that. Like, you couldn't, like, let's say I wanted, like, another user to play Switch Online, or to play Nintendo Switch Sports, because they didn't buy it on their profile, they can't do it. Right, like, that might be a thing. It's just kind of annoying. I don't know, but, like, I feel like I can add a guest. So I added the guest, and I have them customize that. But I was like, I should be able to add user, and it just didn't work. It didn't work, and that was kind of annoying. You know, actually, we're not going to do another game. We're actually not going to do another game. We're going to do something else. You know, I mentioned last week that we had some sodas and whatnot to try out, and I didn't get around to them last week. So let's get around to them this week, I guess, even though it is, what, past midnight at this point? Let's... Give me a second, I gotta go get it real quick. Because we've got a few things to do tonight, actually. Give me 1 second. Alright. Oh god, I need a drink real quick. Okay. Hey, look at that. Here we are, live action once again. I know it's been a while. For a while. The webcam wasn't working, so I couldn't be in live action for a while. But, you know, we had to return eventually at some point, and I gotta get that thing working by, E3. Which is, Summer Games Fest it's now called? Whatever. You know, I had to get the webcam working eventually. So, I did. I fuddled around with it. I don't know why it's not... Because the webcam now works. The headphones are broken. They don't even show up. So I'm wondering if there's like my dongle that has like a bunch of like different HDMIs. I'm wondering if that only can do so many. I don't know. But we got two things tonight. We're going to do this one first. As you know, Amiibo. The Min Min Amiibo came out on the same day as Nintendo Switch Sports. And I've had it sitting here for, 2 weeks now? Something like that. Because it came out on Nintendo Switch Sports, but I had to order it through Best Buy, and they couldn't let me pick up in store, so I had to wait for them to, ship it to me, and that took, a week. And I was going to do it last week, but the webcam wasn't working, so, yeah. But we finally got it, so we got Min Min Amiibo right here. Min Min, you know, it's got the whole thing. Got a back of a box. Still shows 3DS. I'm actually kind of surprised it still does. Because, you know, Nintendo hasn't put out a 3DS game in who knows how long. Yeah, so I guess let's open this up, shall we? Soiled it. So we got that. And yeah, it does have... Oh, so one of the things... I know I've always been an out-of-box collector, so I was going to open it regardless. One of the things, Nintendo Amiibos have always had like a little metal disc at the bottom, so that way you can't scan them in the box. The only exception to that has been the Shovel Knight Amiibo. It didn't have that. The gold Shovel Knight does. The normal Shovel Knight doesn't. My normal Shovel Knight, they're both over there. I would show you, but no. Right, Amiibos have always had that little thing in the bottom. The Min Min amiibo is the first amiibo not to have one of those. So you could keep this in box and use it in the game. Just saying, like, it's the first time they've ever done that, which is interesting, but I'm an out-of-box collector. I always have been. Okay, I've been for like 90% of this thing. Still, I only have 2 amiibos in the box. Shovel Knight and Gold Shovel Knight. Because I didn't want to buy, and I don't have an open Gold Shovel Knight. I did not want to buy a second one. So we've got Min Min here. God, it'd be so nice to blur me out of this, because that works so much better. I mean, I could mess around with the camera properties, I just really don't. Oh, oh, wait. Oh. There really is no way to get this good and focused, is there? Just with my big head in the background. This is what I get for autofocusing. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Like, you can see, like, there's a rod in the noodle arm to, you know, keep it up. It's got the shock ram, which is pretty nice. It's got the dragon, which I think looks pretty good. And then it does have a little plastic dealie at the back, you know, to keep the plastic dealie up, or to keep it, you know, because one of the legs is literally in the air. But that is one of the things that the Smash Ultimate amiibos have done, is instead of just having like a stick, you know, they make it a little bit more interesting. Ridley's crystals, Ice Climber's ice. You know, that's not bad. Oh god, was it Joker that had like a whole stand thing? I don't know. They've done some interesting things with amiibo. But it is a high quality figure, right? Smash Ultimate amiibo do cost more, but they do definitely reflect it in quality. And this is very high quality stuff. Even though there's like a little scuff right there. You can't really see it. Yeah, it's nice. It's an amiibo. It's nice quality. Like, what do you expect? It'll go on the shelf with all my others. And yeah. Now, those Steve and Alex amiibos were supposed to come out at the same time as this. That didn't happen, so they happen, you know, even though they're very simple figures, they'll happen when they happen. Same thing with Sephiroth, Pyra, Mithra. I think everything except for Sora has been confirmed to getting an amiibo. So we'll see if Sora happens. I don't know. Admittedly, I didn't think Banjo-Kazooie was going to happen, but that did. Minecraft Steve is. So, yeah. It's not like those Funko Pops right back there, where it's like you can only do... Right, the only reason Funko can do pops of Marvel characters is if they make them bobbleheads, because somebody else has the rights to make action figures. Does it actually say that on this? Yeah. Yeah, so these are dusty as heck. But you can see it says bobblehead. Whereas if I look at the other one, it says vinyl figure. Okay, trust me, it says vinyl figure there. There we go. Right? So yeah, that's one of those things. And I thought that was going to happen with Banjo, or that would happen with Minecraft, because I'm sure somebody has the rights to Minecraft. But nope. So, yeah, that's okay. Hey, it's cool. And it's cool that we're getting 2. And it's cool that we're getting both Pyra and Mithra. I wish we had gotten both Byleths, honestly. I would have liked that, but beggars can't be choosers. So the second thing we have, Coca-Cola Creations. Coca-Cola Byte. Limited edition, Taste the Magic of Pixels. So, You know, Coca-Cola did Starlight, which we talked about in a previous stream. I don't remember when, but I know we did. But they launched their new flavor, Byte, and they only made like 10,000 of them or whatever. It might still be available because I don't know how interested people are in this. But you know, I had to try it. So yeah, I had to try Coca-Cola Byte. Honestly, I'm not too like I don't Starlight, the last one, which I think I saw on the store shelves. When I went and picked up Dr. Pepper Dark Berry, which I'm all out of. I bought 2 packs and I went through it in like 2 weeks. It's really good. If you can find Dr. Pepper Dark Berry, pick it up. It's really good. Not like that Flamin' Hot Cheetos one, which I have a can up on the shelf over there. But yeah, this, I don't know. The Starlight one to me tasted like jelly beans, specifically popcorn flavored jelly beans. I did not like it. I do not have high expectations for this either. So we've got the box here. Again, I know I don't have the best camera angles. I'm not a professional unboxer or anything. It says taste the game. So yeah, it's pixel because it's called Byte, but it's pixel flavored. And like this isn't Gamer Coke or anything, but it's kind of Gamer Coke. Like that's kind of what they're going for. So it says Byte limited edition flavor. We can lift here. Oh, there's a little card. Okay, let me lift here real quick so I can pull this out. And I've got how can I just pull this out? I've got 2 cans. They say player 1 and player 2. And it's let me pull out a can here. Let me just pull out player 1. I'm going to push that off to the side. So it's Coca-Cola Byte Zero. So it is one of the because like the Starlight was just normal Coke. This is Coke Zero Sugar. Coca-Cola Creations, same thing as the Starlight. Now the Starlight was in the mini cans. So like you have the normal Coke can, you have the mini, and then you have this. It would. Now I'm not going to go get one. And I've got this little card here. It's got a QR code. I don't care. And it says, inspired by the humble and iconic Pixel, Coca-Cola's Zero Sugar Byte celebrates the friendship and connections that are the essence of gaming. Take a sip and taste the pixels. We hope you share it with others. So yeah, you can get a box with 2 cans, and there's other merchandise. But yeah, now this isn't like G Fuel. At least I don't think it is. This is just their Coke, and for some reason they made it the Zero Sugar variety. For some reason. There was actually this whole thing I remember where it was Diet Coke sells, right, like almost exclusively women drink Diet Coke. And that's why even though, Diet Coke and Zero Sugar, they're like the same thing. The only reason Coke Zero Sugar exists is because, try to get men to drink Diet Coke. Because men don't drink Diet Coke. I mean, I know there are some that do, but it's like 85% of people who drink Diet Coke are women. So that's why Coke Zero Sugar exists. But I guess let's open it up. Raspberry. Yeah, that's what it smells. That's what it smells like. Now, I should say I don't even drink Coke at all anymore. I seriously, I had that Starlight, and before Starlight, I couldn't even tell you the last time I drank a Coke. No idea. I just don't drink Cokes. I would much rather have a Dr. Pepper. And honestly, I don't even really. I've tried to wane myself off soda. I do have the occasional, right, Dr. Pepper or Mountain Dew. Love me some McDonald's High C Orange now that they've brought that back. But yeah, I've been trying to wane myself off of it. I was doing really good. I went like 3 months. But then COVID hit and I just... Ugh. Okay, I'm stalling. So, the problem is, I don't know what in this is. This is this flavor, and what in this is Diet Coke flavor. Or Coke Zero Sugar. I don't even know if I've ever had a Coke Zero. Statistically, I have. Statistically, I've had a Coke Zero and a Diet Coke, but that was maybe, what, 10 years ago? So I don't know, like, what's what. There, like, my first thought is raspberries, but there's some other fruit. It's not pomegranate. Because I've had raspberry Coke before. That's like, if you ever go to one of those, like a Wendy's, where it has, like, those fancy, like, 100 combination soda machines, they have raspberry Coke. It's not that. I wish I had a glass, so that way I could pour it out and see what it looks like. Because that's full. That's a shot glass. The only thing I have is this. I have an old bottle of melatonin that's empty. Just for curiosity's sake. Oh, it's got a single one in the bottom. Just to see what color it is. It is normal Coke colored. Oh my god, that just smells like strawberry. No, I'm not. I was like, do I drink that? Nah. Because I was wondering if the color was going to be a hint or anything. It's not raspberry, but it is definitely a berry. If I had to guess, I'd go more for like a goji. Huh. Yeah, I legitimately have... Because, again, I don't drink Diet Coke, so I have no idea. Or Coke Zero, whatever. So, like, I don't know if I'm just tasting the Coke Zero in this, and, like, that's what's taking up all my senses. It's like, the smell is definitely a berry, though. I don't think it's a blueberry. No, I don't... You know, I will admit, it is interesting doing, like, one of these, like, artsy flavors. Because, like, yeah, like, I know Mountain Dew does the mystery flavor, and that's fun. But, like, most of the time, it's very, like, straightforward, right? Like, oh, this one's going to taste like pineapple, right? Oh, this one's obviously going to taste like cinnamon. The Flaming Hot one, it was kind of cinnamony. But this... I just keep smelling it because I feel like that's my best bet of figuring out what this is. I have no idea. I legitimately, it just tastes kind of... It tastes like what a Coke Zero would, I guess. So, is it worth it? No. You can get a Coke Zero and get the exact same thing. And, like, as a result, I can't even tell if it's bad or not. Like, when I had the Mountain Dew, the Flamin' Hot Cheetos Mountain Dew, it was like, yeah, no, this isn't great. This just kind of like it's fighting an uphill battle because, well, I don't drink Coke, and I especially don't drink bottled Coke, or canned Coke. I mean, I feel like canned Coke is just like the worst thing. Like, right, McDonald's pays more money to get better Coke, and that shows because if I were to drink a Coke, I'd only drink a McDonald's Coke, and I don't even do that. But this, it's already a bottled Coke. It's a zero sugar Coke. It just kind of is nothing, honestly. Like, hated the Starlight. The jelly bean, popcorn jelly beans, Coke Starlight. Terrible. This is just nothing. Like, what are you? No, and the more I've drank it, the more I've lost the scent. I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah, no, it's not worth it. Like, honestly, I would have gotten more joy out of drinking a Pepsi. I did like I did like those Nitro Pepsis until the one sitting on my shelf fucking exploded. Oh my god. It just exploded and got everywhere. It's still on my poster over there. It's still on it. I haven't even gotten up to clean it. I still have the can sitting up there. It's you can see how the top exploded. Ugh. Like, the Coke Starlight took me a minute to place, and there are still some people who are like toasted marshmallow. Nah, and I know there are some people who liked it. I can't remember if it was the Goomba or Laura Kate Dale. One of them liked it, but this is just nothing. Keep an eye out for Jesse Cox. I think he also was like curious, where he was like, oh, I'm picking up that, so maybe he'll have a better take than I do. But I just feel like I'm getting nothing from it. Okay. Does it remind me of like a medicine? Okay, that sounds bad, and maybe it should. Yeah, you know how like people like make the jokes of like, oh, here's new LaCroix flavors. Someone thinking about the concept of lemon, transported in a truck near strawberries, right? Yellow, right? Is that like this? Is this like Coke LaCroix, where it's just like the concept of raspberries infused into a Coke? Taking a fan and blowing goji berry into a Coke. No, I don't think it's medicine. I was thinking like a strawberry flavored like cough syrup, but no. I've got nothing. I've got nothing. Okay, I'm taking one last smell and that's it. Yeah, no, I think like I know there's a thing where it's like what's worse, being bad or being boring? When it comes to soda, I think it's being bad. That Mountain Dew Flamin' Hot, pretty horrendous, right? But this is just boring. Like, I feel like I got nothing out of it. Like, there's nothing... Like, you could have told me this is just, again, like a diet cherry Coke... Or, like, Coke Zero cherry. And just in a different packaging, and I would have believed you. Honestly, you could have just told me this was normal Coke Zero, and I probably would have believed you. If it wasn't for the smell, I wouldn't be able to tell there was anything special about it. But yeah, this is empty, so... Yeah. But yeah, that's... I just... You know, I had it. I might as well try it. This other one will go up on the shelf over there. I don't think I ever even showed a picture of the shelf because it's a mess. Because, again, something exploded on it the other day. Whatever. I'll put the other one up on the shelf. Yeah. I'm not too impressed with that. At all. Nah. So I guess that takes us to the end of the stream, does it? You know, I know we could switch over back to Fall Guys. Whatever. It definitely doesn't taste like I think of like those gamer drinks, like the, what was it called? Prime or whatever? That new one that like Logan Paul did or whatever. And like at least that was like something, right? At least G Fuel is something. That's freaking nothing. And I have no, like, I feel like other people were saying it was like raspberry flavored or something. And I guess to be fair, they don't do raspberry Coke Zero. To be fair. Or at least as far as I know. Maybe they do. I don't know. I've never actually tried it. I just know they do raspberry Coke. But yeah, that's just the whole thing, isn't it? Yeah, so, outro, I guess, will we do Pokemon at some point? I would like to get back to Pokemon. I don't know when that's going to happen. It might happen tomorrow. I might be a few more days. Yeah. I'll get to Pokemon when I get to Pokemon. You know how it goes. And then after Pokemon, I do want to do Bug Snacks, right? We've got the Isle of Big Snacks, and it seems to actually be a pretty lengthy DLC. Like, it seems to have, like, I saw someone like post a stream archive on YouTube that was like a good like 7 hours. So it looks like it has a good amount of content in it. So I do want to get to that at some point. And then, at some point we gotta do Minecraft. You know, there was 3 new achievements in the last update, and I would like to get those before the new update comes out, even though I know one of them is going to be a pain in the ass to get. The villager one. I'm talking about the villager one. I mean, I'm sure there's a way we can cheat it somehow, or I could piston elevator it or something, I don't know, I'm sure there's an easy way to do it. Or there's a way to, like, cheap it out. But, yeah, I'm sure there's a way. But maybe even in chat we should do that. Because I know at least the Forest Meadow record disc is easy. And falling from the top of the bottom to the world should be pretty easy as well. Those two are going to be pretty straightforward. It's the villager one that's going to take some time. And I don't think they ever added any other achievements other than those 3. But yeah, I do want to get them done before the new update comes out. Oh god, could you imagine them in the new update adding an achievement to kill the warden? I know they won't, because it's antithetical to the game. Like, the whole point of the warden is that you're not supposed to be able to kill it. So having the warden making that an achievement would be antithetical. But I could definitely see Record Disc 5. I could definitely see being killed by the warden being an achievement. And I think Record Disc 5 is going to be the other one. Or something like that, I don't know. But yeah. Yeah, I gotta get to Minecraft at some point. So maybe I don't know. I've just been doing Fall Guys because it's the safe choice. Like I've got Xbox and like I've got Xbox right here, and like I know I've been wanting to do I was talking about last week about doing unpacking because I feel like that would also make a good in chat stream, and maybe we will get to that as well. I don't know. And there's still part of me that was like, you know, maybe this is the last season of an in chat because I do kind of want to do something different, but I also don't have to. I don't know. Honestly, I know part of the reason is that I need to do these earlier in the day. Like, one of the mistakes I'm making is I'm streaming at what? God, it's almost 1 a.m. right now. So yeah, maybe I shouldn't be doing that. Maybe it'd go better if I was streaming it earlier in the day, but I don't know. Maybe, you know, summer's going to be interesting. There might be some changes coming up, and I might stream more frequently. We might start doing 3-4 days a week. Maybe I'm thinking about it. We'll see. But yeah, I do wonder if because I think what of this season we're episode 7. 6 of them have taken place in Fall Guys, and I mean, it was nice when I wasn't like anywhere near getting all the season like stuff, but now that we've got it, it's kind of like, I mean, we're gonna cross 200,000 currency like sometime like soon-ish. We honestly, if we had kept going, we probably could have crossed it tonight. Just like 3 or 4 more games. We crossed 100 crowns 2 or 3 weeks ago, so that happened. We're only missing 1 achievement, which I don't think I'm going to do on stream. It'd be nice if I could get somebody here to help me do it, but I think you need a party of 4, so yeah. And I don't even know if you have to win it or if somebody else in the party of 4. I'm assuming it works in... I was always disappointed that squad shows doesn't give you that. But I'm assuming in theory you could do it in squad shows and that'd give you the achievement. I don't know. I've never actually tried it. Or the trophy. Excuse me, PlayStation. I think, God, I have that whole stack of PlayStation games over there. Guess what the yellow one is? It's been a long time since we've been in live action. I don't remember when the last time was, but I know it's been a while. Anything else? Yeah, Bug Snacks, Minecraft, and Pokemon. Which, yeah, we'll get back to Pokemon. You know, we gotta work our way. We've got Cub Fu now, so we can work our way towards the next gym. And I'll get to that eventually. Oh, yeah, the one day we broke was when we did Wii Sports, which, it worked okay. I listened to the sound thing later, and I was definitely, kind of muffled when I walked away for bowling. It was... This mic is kind of a piece of shit. Honestly, I know people use them and they get good quality stuff out of them. But maybe it's just because, I hate the sound of my own voice. And I will never know if I'm getting good audio out of it or not. I have no idea if I get good audio out of this thing. I know I definitely got to worry about the creak in the desk. That was something that paranoid me to hell in the Marvel videos. And it probably still does drive me crazy. It's just I don't edit stuff nowadays. Or, the squish in my chair. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, that's just getting real for a minute there. Just, sit down, having an honest conversation about the future of the stream, which we do every week. I mean, come on. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, next week, I mean, if we show up in Minecraft, that'd be cool, but if we show up back in Fall Guys, don't be surprised. Yeah, we'll get to it. We'll get to stuff when we get to stuff, and I have no idea when it'll change. Yeah, and then E3 is less than a month away. Is it? It's now the Ides of May. Yeah, so we're halfway through the month, and E3 is a month away because Xbox's show is on the 13th. Whatever. Oh, God, it's gonna start getting hot. 100-degree days. Okay, whatever. I'm rambling at this point. We got to end off at some point. Yeah, we'll be back next Saturday or Friday or whenever, whenever it happens. It's not like anything has changed. Some things never change. Even though I know we've missed several Saturdays, I am glad I switched the show to Saturday at the end of the day. Yeah, no, I am glad. But yeah, with that, I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Until next time. Peace.